Guys, welcome back to my channel Automation of Sathak, and in this video I'll discuss very briefly about how do you determine response code of any website or a URL, or for that matter anything which you just want to browse upon. So how do you determine whether that particular what is the response code of that particular URL you are currently in? So before you understand what a response code is, let us go and understand. You just go to Google and type response codes. That's it. And then you will see list of HTTP status codes with Wikipedia. You can just go and click over here. And here you scroll down and then you will start remembering 200 OK is success. See, you cannot remember all the status codes. No one does. But there are certain which we encounter quite frequently. So like 200 OK, and then you come to the 400 series like bad request, unauthorized, 403 forbidden error, 404 is not found, and some you must be remembering with the 500 as well, internal server error, a bad gateway, service unavailable, gateway timeout. So there are certain errors, certain HTTP response codes in both the 2 series, 3 series, 4 series and 5 series, which you might remember, but as automation testers we just want this one. Our aim is that if this is there, then it should work. So this is what we intend to find. It may not be exactly true all the time, but this is what our primary intention is. So we'll do one thing. I'm not going to use any sort of Selenium WebDriver code as such, but then still then I will maintain this particular class, or I'll create this particular class and write the code in a Selenium project only. So what I've done is I've created a package extra topics. I'm just going to make a new class, and mind you, I will use this class in future. I will use this particular coding concept in future. I'll tell you when. Before you start coding, there is one thing which you need to remember. If you are using a Maven project, which I hope as of now, if you're watching this video, I'm sure you're using Maven project. You open your pom.xml. There are two uh, Maven dependencies which you need to find out. The first one is commons minus IO. You need to find this. This one should be there in your dependency section. You can go to Google and type commons IO dependency. You go here and in Google you type commons minus IO Maven dependency. You will get this. Just go over there. I have taken, I think mine is 2.6 or something. So you can take 2.6. It is very popular. See the number of downloads. You can click here. You can copy this, okay, and then you can paste it here and save it. Once you save it, it will start building up the process. Give it some time. It will take some time. Okay, this is one thing which you need to do. Another you need is fluent minus HC. See, I have also done the same thing. Okay, this also will, once you go to Google and type this fluent HC Maven dependency, and you copy this particular bit, okay, and then you put it inside your pom.xml and then save it and give it some time, because it will start building up all those jar files, and that's it. So these are the prerequisites for you to actually determine response code. Okay, so now the best part is, you can determine response code of any website you want. Let's say I want to determine of Google. As simple as this. I'm determining response code of Google. So what I did was I created a variable URL of the string data type, and I've just written it here. As simple as that. Nothing much. I did not write any sort of WebDriver code, nothing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to determine my response code. Okay, so as of now we do not know what is the response code is. So let me assume that the response code for the timing is 0, because I do not know what it is, but I know it is a number, because it is either 200, 300. It is a number. I do not know what number it is. Otherwise I would be writing here string response code equal to null, but I know it is a number. It is an integer. That is a known fact. That is why I'm using integer. Okay, I've initialized to 0. I do not know what it is. I'm assuming that I will get something nice. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a particular class in Java which is request. and this request is actually under client.fluent package. But as of now, I'll use this request class to get to my URL. So what is my URL? I have passed a variable over here. So I'll just write URL. See, this request falls under the client.fluent request package, as simple as that. Okay, so I'll write here URL, and then with this I will try to execute this particular URL. See, this is standard code. You don't have to remember everything. You can copy my code also, and then I'm trying to return a certain response and in a certain status line. When you get more in depth with what response codes are, you'll understand what this is. Even I don't remember everything, and now I'll get the status code for the same. That's it. So now I want to, I'm just imagining that this will return a sort of a digit. Okay, and I want this digit, this initialization to be this. This is what my intention is. So I'll keep it like this. Okay, now obviously it will throw a certain kind of an exception, because I hope I will make a lot of videos on exceptions, and I'll clear your doubts, and then you'll understand this. But see, either you put it in try catch block, or if you want, you can do a throws declaration. Let me put it in try catch block. Okay, uh, you just keep it like this. You don't have to change anything, or just keep it like this. This whole thing is in try catch block. Now you want to determine whether what is the status code of this. So you will write response code for this URL. Okay, you can say something like this, and you can write here, and you can also mention the URL. Okay, you can mention the URL, and you can also mention this, and you can just say is response underscore code. That's it, nothing much. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to execute this. It's a very simple thing. You do not need WebDriver code here, but in case there is a requirement in your project that this website sometimes is up and sometimes is down, how do you automate it to find whether this system is the website is up or down? So if it is up, status code is 200. This is what I wanted, right? So you can use this in your code. So let's say, for example, this website is down. Okay, so either it will throw a bad request, or there is an internal server error. So you need to tell the developer, okay, I'm receiving 500 internal server error in my automation code. So you can use this particular line of code everywhere you want to make sure that, and if if response code is this, then you go ahead and click. If response code is not 200, don't even proceed, because you're getting a 500 gateway error or internal server error. You can utilize this code in your WebDriver script as well. That I will explain in future videos. So this is very simple topic, not a big deal, but you can utilize this, you can get to know this, because even though it is a very small and simple topic, but this will give you a lot of value add when you actually encounter. See what happens as automation testers. What happens is we tend to work in various environments. So let's say we tend to work in a lot of QA environments. Let's say you have a QA1, you have a QA2, then maybe you have a staging 1 environment, and you have a staging 2 environment. Okay, then the developers will say this is ours. Dev team will say you don't do anything here, this is ours. Then there will be UAT1, UAT2. So UAT2, the BA people will say, BA will say this is ours. Okay, and then finally there will be the production URL or production environment. So we work on lot of environments, but still sometimes, even though staging 2 development team will proclaim that this is ours, but if something goes wrong, they will put the blame back onto the testing team, that the testing team did not check this, did not check that. So then if there is a protocol defined, that we don't have to do any sort of testing on staging 2, because this is purely is acting as a unit testing environment for dev team. So we'll be responsible only for QA1, QA2 and staging 1. And all of a sudden sometimes what happens is that the branching is done on QA2. So your architect or the development architect will take, okay, test team, go ahead and test on QA2. But then all of a sudden you encounter a response code which is 500 or some gateway error. So you will say, can I switch to QA1 because we are getting this kind of error. We are getting internal server error, we are getting 500 error. So then the architect will say, okay, go ahead and do with QA1. So these are real-time scenarios, which real-time events which actually work. So to prove your case, this small piece of code will actually work. So even though this is small, this is important. You will never get this question in interview for sure, but nothing wrong in knowing it, because at some times when you go to a particular project and if somebody is smart enough to implement this and you will be like, oh my god, what is this? I do not know this. Let's say for example, he does not want to take the printout of it. Okay, but let's say for example he wants to take the printout of this thing, and he stores it somewhere, and then he makes a boolean statement out of it, then he validates using this, then you'll get confused. As simple as that. So we don't want you to get confused. So let's say for example, that particular guy will say, if you know response underscore code is equal to 200. Okay, then you will say uh, WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup, and driver equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll just make public static WebDriver driver, just for reference purpose, why this is also important. So driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. If this is true, get me the title of the page. As simple as that. You can use this. Or if this is not true, else just, if this is true, you get this thing done. Else you print something. The response code is not 200. Okay, as simple as that. So if for this particular response code, otherwise our thing will not open. So let me execute this. So let's see what has happened. We got this as 200. Okay, now response code is equal to 200. So we were okay, we did not give any sort of sorry, my mistake, I did not give uh, you know so let's say for example, I'm using google.co.in. Okay, I'll close this. My mistake. I did not open any this thing URL, and I was trying to get the title. So see the beauty of it. If the global Google page is working fine, okay, If the response code of global Google page is working fine, then help me. If it is fine, if it is true, if it is getting 200, then I will open the Indian Google page. How this is a beautiful piece of logic, right? So let's go ahead and open. So if the global website is down, no point opening the local website. Cool, it works. So, and we'll also get the title. See, title of the page is Google. You go to Google, what it says, Google in dark black, Google. So that's it. So even though this is a very small line of code, this has quite a lot of significance. And in interviews, you might not get asked to write this code, but typically you are asked these kind of response codes, because if you are a newbie, if you are not experienced in automation, and you will say I do not know, that means they'll understand, okay, this person has not worked on automation, he or she is learning and coming to give interviews. So technically this is important. Okay, I hope you like this video, and please contribute towards liking my videos and sharing with your friends and families, and keep subscribing, keep watching. Thank you so much. Sarthak here, signing off.